Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Friday Frothy. Glennie, how are you, my friend?
Great, Jeff. How are you, mate?
Going well.
Another big week, mate.
A huge week and a huge show, mate.
Yeah.
We've got our 10th show tonight, and we have a special guest on for our 10th show tonight.
Exciting, mate.
It is exciting. Do you know who it is?
I do.
He's a 10-pin bowler.
I know.
He is the best 10-pin bowler in the world. He's going to be the best 10-pin bowler ever seen in the world, ever. He's just about to take over some very good bowlers and become the best ever.
Well, we're lucky to be talking to him, mate.
We are very privileged indeed. He comes from Orange, New South Wales. He's undoubtedly the best bowler in the world, as I just said. He's just flown back from America. He was bowling in the US Open in Kansas. He's got a resume so long I can't read it, but I can tell you guys he's won 18 titles in the PBA, Professional Bowlers Association. 9 of those, Glennie, have been majors. Okay, so they're the big deal. 2 of them have been the World Series bowling titles. He's been the Professional Bowlers Association Player of the Year either 4 or 5 times, which he'll school us up to. So many 300 games, I don't even know if he'll be able to remember, but we'll ask him in a minute because he's just about to come on. And he's also had the High Average Award 2 years in a row. He averages about 225, somewhere around about that for the whole year.
Okay, wow.
So every game he bowls is around 225 to 300.
That's just incredible,
It's
isn't it?
amazing, absolutely amazing. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Friday Frothy, Jason Belmonte.
Yeah.
G'day, Jason. Thanks for joining us on the Friday Frothy, mate. Absolute pleasure to have you on the show.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Mate, no worries at all, boys. Thanks for having me.
No
worries, Jason.
No, fantastic, mate. You've just returned back from Kansas in the US Open. Bit of a tough week over there, mate.
Mate, it was. Yeah, the fairy tale winning the US Open didn't quite come to fruition, unfortunately. I started off a little slow. I thought I was going to dig my way out of it and dug myself deeper into it. And then I thought, you know, it's all right. I'll find a way to get through it. And I just kept digging deeper and deeper. And by the end of it, I think I ended up in about 30 or 40 pins shy of the cut.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was really disappointing, to be honest. The US Open is one of those events that I love playing, and I pride myself in the difficulty and really stepping up. And unfortunately, 2018 won't be the year I remember the US Open.
No, next year, mate. Now, listen, we spoke a little bit about you and your titles and things that you've won. We've had some viewers send us in some questions as well, which Glennie's going to ask you in a minute, mate. But just for the people who don't know, you're a two-handed 10-pin bowler. Which means you only use just your fingers, don't you? You don't use your thumb in the ball at all?
Yep, that's right. I use my ring finger and my middle finger on my right hand into the ball. I do not use my thumb. Okay.
So how did that all come about, Jason? Because obviously the traditional way to bowl is with your 2 fingers and your thumb. So where did this all come from?
Yeah, well, the long story short is my parents built a bowling centre when I was only a couple of weeks old. So as I was growing up in Orange, the lightest ball we had was 10 pounds. So I started bowling when I was 18 months old. And you can imagine an 18-month toddler trying to lift a 10-pound bowling ball traditionally, which is never going to happen. So I kind of would pick it up with 2 hands and kind of waddle to the line and throw it down there. And as the years were going on, I still wasn't strong enough to lift up 10-pound bowling ball, so I just developed this 2-handed technique. Now, fortunately for me, my parents were not bowlers. In fact, they hadn't bowled a ball until they opened the place. So they weren't traditional players by any stretch of the imagination. They weren't coaches. And all they saw was this little boy who would basically be out of their hair while they were working, bowling, his own way. And they kind of just let it happen. And luckily, I'm very lucky that my parents decided to let me do that, because it turned out it's working for me.
It's turned out pretty well, hasn't it? Okay. Mate, in the intro, I said that you've bowled many 300 games. Can you remember how many you've bowled?
Yeah, on the Pro Tour, I have 21, and my career around the world is 87.
How many?
87. Yeah, 87 around the world and 21 on the Pro Tour.
Goodness gracious! Talking about around the world, are you very well known around the world? I mean, in the States, when you're over there, do you get noticed a lot, or?
Yeah, I mean, there are different parts of the world that, I mean, to use a word like, fame follows me a little more. I mean, the US certainly. I mean, it's nice because it's not by any stretch of the imagination like, other huge sporting stars like a LeBron James or anything. So when I do get recognised, it's not like the paparazzi is after me and there's, crowds of people. But, you get your fans and they come up and they're always really polite. Through Southeast Asia, Japan, Korea even, slightly less than the US, but you do get recognised, and it's really nice because, like I said, I don't think I would really enjoy the paparazzi style fame. So I think being a bowler, it's that really nice mix of, I feel special without feeling like, hey, get out of my way.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, mate. Awesome. Well, mate, I'm going to throw you over to Cleve. He's sitting right next to me at the moment. He's got a couple of questions that have been sent in by email from some of our viewers. Go easy on him, mate, because he doesn't have much...
I haven't got much of an ex-footballer, mate.
He's a beginner in 10 bowls.
I don't know. I was never very good at it, mate. Probably better at marbles, I reckon, than 10 bowling. But I've got to be honest with you. But anyway, this is what we've got. We've got one in from a viewer from Dobbsy. Have you ever spared the 7-10 split?
I have spared the 7-10 split once in my career, and it was only this year actually that I managed to do it, and I did it on my birthday. I was really, really chuffed to give myself that birthday present. It was one of those splits where on the Pro Tour, I would probably guess 99% of the guys on the tour have spared it multiple times.
Oh, really?
And sometimes, in some of the guys, well over 20 or 30 times. So I always felt like I was going to be that one pro bowler that was going to finish his career and never get to spare the 7-10. But this year managed to leave it and then spare it. Which is
well done, mate. The other one was, how many games a week do you practice?
So I don't really practice in a game rate. I practice in a time rate.
Okay.
And the reason I do that is I kind of like other sports. You're trying to develop your skills, and a lot of the time that I put into my game is harnessing certain techniques or certain releases or my footwork. So generating games really is it's kind of irrelevant. If I'm practicing, I'm not too worried about my score, so I just go into practice thinking of it as a time reference, and usually it's anywhere between 45 minutes to 2 hours, depending on what I'm trying to learn and how quickly I feel like I'm doing a good job. If I feel like I'm, really nailed that extra skill, I give myself an early mark and head on home.
Yep.
Also, mate, we've got another question here that's come in. What weight bowling ball do you use?
I use 15 pounds.
15 pounds, yeah.
For some reason, bowling still works in the pounds. I guess it's more, American-based than it is globally. So I think it actually might be somewhere in Europe that weighs their bowling balls in kilos. So it's always interesting trying to see the Americans in particular, try and do the conversion. How many kilos is a pound? It's pretty funny.
And I've got a last one here, mate, for you. I know where I'd be aiming. I'd be aiming for the alley. But where you'd be aiming, it says, so where do you aim when you line up to bowl? Is it the dots on the lane, or the arrows, or the pins?
Yeah, I have 2 reference points that I look at when targeting. So the arrows and the dots that the person who has asked the question is a very, I guess, simple way to look at it, but I kind of narrow my targeting even further. So I'm going to be looking at a specific board, not just the arrows. It might be in line with the arrows, but there will be a specific board, and it's hard to imagine, but the next time you go to the bowl or to a bowling centre, look at the lane a little closer and you'll see that it's actually split into 39 boards that are about 1.5 centimetres big. Each board is about 1.5 centimetres big, or probably a bit bigger, so it's about 2.5 centimetres.
Okay.
And that lane is then split across those boards. So I'm going to look at an individual board plus at about 40 feet down the lane, I'm going to look at another board.
Wow.
And I'm going to draw this line between the 2 points, and my goal is to basically draw over that imaginary line that I've created with the ball. So we call it a target at the arrows, and then a break point when the ball starts to turn towards the pocket. Those are the 2 points on the lane that I'm looking at. The pins are actually very irrelevant to a professional bowler. We aren't aiming at the pins. We're aiming elsewhere, knowing that if we release the ball the way that we want to release it, with a certain speed, a certain rev rate, a certain axis tilt, and a certain axis of rotation, then the pins are really inconsequential to what we're doing at the release point. Think of it like a golfer looking at the fairway. I mean, is he looking at the actual, hole when he's 500 yards away, or is he looking, somewhere else? He's probably
like
looking,
shot,
down the middle of the fairway. But the hole, even though it's the goal, especially on a longer hole, he's not really trying to aim it into the hole unless you're Happy Gilmore.
No, thanks. That was from Samantha, that last one. So thanks for that.
Very nice. Very nice.
So Beck, I'll just put you back to Jeff there for a minute, mate.
They're very, very well done, please.
All right, mate. I'm learning,
mate. We don't want to hold you up for too much.
I tell you what, you set it up. I was a bit worried, and then you nailed it.
Yeah, mate.
Thanks, mate.
We don't want to hold you up too much longer, Belmo. But mate, I've got a couple of questions that I'd really like to ask you, and the first one is. When you became a professional bowler, who was your hero? Who did you look up to in bowling?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I've had 3 idols in my life. One, my hometown hero, Peter Brown, who just as a kid growing up, he was the best bowler in Orange. And then there was the best bowler in Australia, Andrew Frawley. And then once I became a professional and started to travel more through the world, there was an American called Tim Mack. And this guy was... I don't know how to explain it. He was unlike anything I'd ever seen before. He curved the ball more than anyone else. He was really passionate and showed his emotion on the lanes. He was extremely energetic. And, I really, really looked up to Timmy. So, and I still know Timmy now. He actually helps me on the Pro Tour as a ball rep. He's one of my, coaches, if you would, and equipment specialist that helps me choosing the right equipment and whatnot, so it's awesome to be able to to work really closely with him.
Yeah, right. That's unreal, mate. Just quickly, buddy, being over in the States and following around the tour, obviously you're in state to state. Do you have a house over there, or do you just live in a camper van, or how do you, or hotels? How does it work?
Yeah, I don't have a camper van. I typically live out of a hotel when I'm over there. And if there is a bit of a break where we might have a couple of days free, usually I'm calling up a couple of mates and saying, hey, can I take the spare room for a couple of days? It's a long way, the US, so coming back and forth is really difficult, but I try to come home as much and as frequently as I possibly can. But if I'm on tour, usually we're staying at hotels in the city that we're competing in, and then once we have those days off, they're usually travel days to the next city that we go to, so you don't really have a whole lot of time. But if there is, 2 or 3 extra days of just, days off, I'll usually crash at someone's house and make myself a nuisance to them for a few days.
Yep, I've got another question there, mate. When you finish your tournaments and that, obviously these guys that you come up against quite regularly on the circuit, do you? Obviously they become very good friends. Obviously you'd have friends from all around the world, I gather. Do you go out and have a few frothies with them, mate, or you don't have a drink, or
froth?
Look, the truth is the Europeans and Asians are probably a lot more socially friendly on their tours. The American tour was a really quick realization to me that this been the Pro Tour, this been where everybody is bowling for a living, putting food on their tables for their families. It's less social indeed, and I think I got a really rude awakening thinking the Australian way, kind of just get to know a few people, we'll go out and have a couple of drinks and tell a few stories. It really wasn't the way over there. So since then, I have a really small core group of mates on the Pro Tour that when we're done competing, we'll go to dinner and sometimes talk about, you know, how it went on the lanes and, you know, maybe offer some suggestions to each other. But, you know, the big group and, you know, chatting and hanging out with a bunch of different people really isn't the way that it is. And I kind of like the fact that it isn't so open. I mean, it's hard bowling your mates. Like even the really close friends that I have now on the Pro Tour, there comes a time where, you know, you're about to bowl them in a title match. One of you is going to win, one of you is going to lose.
That's right.
And you just, you know, you don't like taking money off your mate. So as far as I'm concerned, the less mates I have out there, the better I feel.
Good work. Good work. Now, mate, talking about coming home, just a couple more for you. Sorry to keep you so long. You've come home to bowl in a tournament called the Rolling Thunder in Victoria. It's an Australian tournament that's going to be televised on TV, which hasn't happened for quite a while, probably since the Coca-Cola Classic or the South Pacific. Can you tell us a little bit about it, mate, and what it's all about?
Yeah, Fox Sports have come on board this year with the Rolling Thunder tournament. It's a group of a mixture of men and women, the best Australian bowlers that we have, and you know, we put on this really, really awesome event that's going to be showcased on Fox Sports. I think the filming of it will be this weekend, and then over the next few weeks, you'll see those shows pop up on your local guide. So you got to check your guides to see when that is actually on. I don't know off the top of my head. I probably have to check as well while I'm at it.
Yeah.
But it's super exciting for bowling in Australia. I mean, most people, and not just here but around the world, most people see bowling as a very recreational, fun thing to do with the family and friends, and they aren't very aware of the competitive side of bowling and how I guess exciting it can be, and how difficult it really is at a professional level. So we bowlers are really excited to show Australia again what it looks like to be, you know, a professional player, and to, you know, Australian bowlers haven't had an opportunity to bowl on television and show their stuff for a really long time.
That's true,
the bowlers are excited, the fans our core fans are super excited, so hopefully we get a lot of viewership, and Fox Sports wants to keep making these shows, and we keep putting on bowling on TV in Australia.
Yeah, well, I think that's what it needs, Jason. It needs to be on TV, so guys like myself and novelists that you know, we get to see just how good you guys are. I mean, I've seen you bowl. Yeah. So I've been Jeff's. You know, we've seen some movies and that on you, and. I'm amazed, to be quite honest with you.
But it's also good. But it's also to give you the recognition of being as good as you are as well. So
well, that's right.
Anyway, mate, look, I can't thank you enough for coming on. We've taken up probably way too much of your time already, matey. So thank you so much, Bill, mate. Absolute pleasure to have you on the show.
Yeah, look, we'd like to talk to you any time down the track, mate.
When you're back home.
If you're back home again, we'd love to talk to you and just see how you keep up with all the good work and. Yeah, see how you're going, mate. It'd be great.
Yep.
Mate, I appreciate it, fellas. And look, you've got my number.
Yes.
So, yeah, if I'm in Oz, feel free to give it a bell. And
mate, that'd
happy
be awesome.
to jump on the phone and catch up with you, fellas.
Absolutely.
All the best, champ. No, you've done. You're an ornament to the game and to Australia.
My word. Good luck.
Well done, mate.
Good luck on the weekend, mate. We'll follow your progress, and we'll have regular updates on the Friday Frothy of how you're going over in the States.
We will.
Mate, thank you so much.
Perfect.
Absolute honour to talk to you.
Yeah, take it easy, mate.
Cheers, boys.
Thanks,
cheers, mate.
Thanks, Jason.
Mate.
See you, mate. Bye-bye. Well, there you go, mate. How's that? How's that for an absolute pleasure to talk to?
He was good,
what a guy. What a guy.
Good.
Now, Jason is an absolute ambassador.
What you want to do?
Jason's an absolute ambassador for Tempian Bowling. Absolutely amazing job. He's out there, and look, it is well and truly about time that we got bowling back on TV in Australia, and so make sure you hook onto this show and get onto it and watch it, follow it, as Jason said, because the more people that watch it, the more views.
Exactly, mate. Well, they used to have things like snooker on, didn't they? You never see that anymore.
Well, it's on Fox. It is on Fox.
I know, but it's not. Yeah, they just don't, it's not advertised. I suppose it's not advertised like some of this stuff these days, is it?
All I can say is.
Sounds like a great bloke, doesn't he? That's the main thing. He sounds like a champion. Well, he is a champion, but he's a champion bloke, and I can tell.
If you've got nothing to do on the weekend, get yourself out to your local bowling centre, go and pick up a bowling ball and see if you can be a Bilmo. Watch him on YouTube, get down to your local centre, have a bowl. You might be the next world champion.
Yeah, exactly.
You never know. Go and have a crack, guys. Go and have a bowl. So thank you, Jason. Thank you very much.
On you, mate.
We're going to have a quick break, guys, and then we're going to come back with Philly King with the cricket report.
Yeah, we love the champion.
Welcome back, guys. The Friday Frothy. Great show so far, Glenn.
Yeah, it was good, mate. That was enthralling, actually. What a nice. It's nice to actually talk, mate, to someone that's, obviously a world champion, and you can tell down to earth, nice bloke, and look, I just wish him all the best, mate.
Yeah, same here.
Great. All the best, mate.
Can't thank you enough, buddy. I said before the break that we were going to go to our cricket consultant, young Philly King,
the champion.
We've decided before we go to Philly, we're going to have a quick out with
Fabulous, Phil.
For people who haven't watched before, out with it is anything that's annoyed us during the week in sport, which normally happens. Not too much this week.
Not too much.
We're keeping it short because of the special edition, but this is out with it.
Out with it!
Rightio, Glennie, out with it, mate. I had someone say something to me on Facebook the other day.
Yeah.
I said something about the cricket, and his name was young Brad Wakely, I think, from Toowoomba or Gatton. He came back with, why would we bother? It's not on TV.
Well,
and I've said back, what do you mean it's not on TV? He said, well, the test matches are on TV, but your 2020s and the ODIs are on Fox.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I didn't know that either.
Well, that was a good question, mate. I had no idea. No, I didn't know that.
So there you go, viewers. If you didn't know, they've moved the one-day games in the 2020s to
Fox. Okay.
So
there you go.
So
well,
there you go. And that's all I've got for out with it.
Well, it's news, mate.
That was a quick one.
That was quick. Yeah, well, we've got to be quick.
That was a quick one. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got on the phone Philly King, our cricket correspondent, our cricket reporter.
Cricket guru. That's it.
Had a few frosts with Philly during the week. How are you, Phil?
I had you on the phone.
Good afternoon, guys. It's one of those weeks where I think I need a frothy already. It's only a Thursday.
No, it's Friday.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. I'm getting my days mixed up, Well,
I think you may have had too many frothy shows, Phil.
It can be an excuse for getting my days mixed up, can't I?
It happens as we get a bit older, mate.
It does. What's going on in the world of cricket, Philly?
Well, I think everybody's attention is, it's just like, I reckon Donald Trump's big news, but I'll tell you what, Cricket Australia, isn't that the news? It's just,
Humpty Dumpty.
Who's next? Who's next? Yeah. Who's next to walk the plank?
Yeah.
Well, what do they do, mate? The Marshes, look. I don't know which ones they think are going to come back in, but they take them out. They go and hit a couple of good quick scores in the Shield cricket, and then they're going to bring them all back in again. Are they doing enough, Phil? Do you think?
The Marshes. Well, I'll tell you what. In Western Australia, you change your name by default to Marsh if you're a Brown or a Smith, because they made some. I hear on the grapevine some funny jokes about the Marsh's birthright, and very interesting. I think look, Trevor Holmes is a Queenslander, the chairman of selectors.
Yep.
Queensland had 4 or 5 players in the Test trip to Dubai. Now, Justin Langer, very much a West Australian, as we know.
Actually, you're all over it.
If you leave Western Australia, I think Justin might have raised your number from his mobile forever. But am I suggesting there's a little bit of parochialism creeping in? Back in, or look, to be honest, has it always been there?
Okay. What'd you think of the collapse of the one-day game the other night, mate?
Yeah, look, Jeff was. Had a chat about that. You said this is your World 11. You made the big call, and
I think so. Yeah.
I don't want to. Look, I think to be really, I think my view about that side is that on good conditions they've got some sort of powerful players, but I think the Ducks have got to be lined up. I think on a really good deck you're going to back some of those players in, like Stoinis and Finch. They've got power.
Yeah.
But really, when you're look, that was a whacker wicket, to be honest. That look, it was shifting about, and you had to have some skill and some nerve, and I think you got to reassess the conditions and say, well, hang on a minute, this is not a 300 game, but let's try and get 220.
Yeah.
And I don't think they read the script too well, and subsequently against the, look, the South African attack, they were pretty relentless, and
that was sensational.
It was really conditions like in their backyard. So we served up something that suited them, I reckon.
Why are we doing that, Phil? Why are we not setting up wickets that suit the Australians? Why are we doing something that suits them?
Well, we play. Look, these guys are in the Big Bash and in the domestic one-day tournaments. The wickets are very placid, mate. We got drop-in wickets. We got wickets that are over catering to batsmen. It's damn hard for bowlers. And now and then we'll get one of these sort of wickets where we got a new curator in Perth. I don't know his name, but I know he's a new curator. Maybe he's trying to get a better balance between the bat and the ball. And look, I don't mind it.
Mm-hmm.
The batsmen probably don't like it because it's it's all been if you think about bats and your boundaries and conditions, it's all set up. And I guess the punters who get there, they don't want size bowled out for 130. They want to see 300.
Not when you're paying good money for a ticket.
No, well, it comes back.
We got to be better. We got to be better in those conditions, and
Well, it comes back to skill, mate, doesn't it? I mean, back in the day, and that if you had guys bowling at like Jeff Thompson and these sort of guys, and the Lilies and the Hogs and that. We had guys ducking and weaving all over the place, and we had great leg spinners and that, but the wickets, like the Wacker, was a fast, bouncy wicket, and Brisbane, the ball used to seam around and had pace, and all the wickets, at Melbourne, it used to keep low, and used to break up, but I think these drop-in pitches, do you think that's... I suppose it's the way they've got to go for TV rights, but do you reckon that's hurting probably Australian cricket at the moment?
Yeah, well, look, it depends on the makeup of your attack. When we had a really powerful batting lineup, and we knew we could make big runs, and we had Shane Warne in the side, like really true wickets that are going to go the distance. Like Australia had Hayden and Simons and Gilchrist. They could just bludgeon attacks. Yeah. And they could make so many runs, and then they had, and the ball carried, which has always got a bit of bounce in Australia, so it suits our seam bowlers. And then it obviously suited Warne because he had a lot of runs to bowl to, but he also had a fantastic side. And I think, as great a player as he was, but like the drop-in wickets, I think they're trying to create a little bit of variation. It's not an artificial product; it's a natural product. It's like growing stuff in your hothouse or in these sort of beds that they grow these wickets. But I think they're trying to, create some points of difference because we certainly, I don't think, around the country and around the world, we don't want them all being the same because that's. Yeah. I don't think that's going to be a great result.
No, I agree with you, mate.
So,
well answered.
Are you expecting a big difference in Adelaide and on the Hobart match? Are you expecting some good scores to come from those?
Yeah, look, I think in Adelaide, mind you, we've had some, we've had a bit of overcast, really early spring weather. So this will be the first wicket in Hobart on Sunday. I think that's always going to be a bit of an unknown. Adelaide, they've had a bit of a mixed bag, but you think after this wicket, the old, JL might have had a word to the curator in Adelaide and said, look, guys, we want something a bit more batter friendly. I'm not saying that goes on, but
we'd hope so.
Yeah, I think you'll find Adelaide, the drop in, it'll certainly be a bit more batting friendly, you would think. And that's going to be, we want to see 270, 280. You want to see a one-day game go the distance. I think that's. But the crowds are going to be interesting, especially the crowd in Hobart. We really need some. We need a full house line.
Yeah. Have you got a Sheffield Shield update, Phil? You know what's going on with it?
Look, the game was. I don't know if you saw the game, but there was a bit of an overnight. I reckon one of those. Where are they in Sydney? There might have been a bit of a Bailey and Peter Neville might have had a few beers in the Cheddar because there was a what would you call it, a sporting declaration from first of all Tasmania, and then New South Wales won for 20. A bit of I think that was organised at the bar. And look, last time I looked, Tassie, Webster and Wade they got to where they were about 3 for 200, needing about a run a ball, needing about 120 runs off 16 or 17 overs. So maybe we should just keep an eye on that. Punters in the next hour on the Cricket Australia live stream, because that Wadey I don't think is going to be the sort of guy that's not going to have a crack at the target. And Bo Webster had sort of 60 odd not out.
Beautiful work, mate. All right, buddy. Mate, that's about all we've got time for tonight.
We've had a big guest there. So apart from yourself, mate, of course, you know, we look forward to this every week.
We do.
We've had our world champion, wasn't he?
Yeah.
World champion on, didn't we?
Best in the world. Been a mega night on the frothy, Philly. So, mate, thank you so much for joining us again, buddy.
Thanks, mate.
Hope you have a great weekend. Keep an eye on the cricket, boys, and we'll talk to you soon.
We will.
Just a quick one on parting, if I can, lads.
Yeah, mate.
Look, I've got in consultation with one of the directors of the Friday Frothy, Mr. Payne, during the week, having a convivial ale or two. I've sort of brainstormed that I'm really interested in doing some, putting a couple of profiles about some of the old cricket clubs and doing a bit of a story on some of these clubs that a lot of people wouldn't know anything about, and hopefully we can unearth. We've got a couple of young players that I think I think the Friday Frothy might be able to unearth a couple of future stars, and
so watch this space.
Mate, that
would be good.
Just very quickly, what was the name of the guy that you spoke to me about?
Yes, I'm trying to think. It's JJJ. It's Jared Jason or Jake Williams. I'm just embarrassed for his first name, so I better get that right by next week. But young player that's in the greater in the northern team in the Cricket Tasmania has made 100. He's a Westby lad, so I'm just driving through that area now, and I'd like to catch up with him and just find out, we might have a next up-and-coming young player in our ranks, and so I'm going to do a bit of homework, and I'll get some, I'll get an update for you next week.
That'd be brilliant.
So you think he's hitting a lot of runs at the moment, and he's going to be up there, you reckon?
Well, he's just something, all of a sudden someone just stands out or does something in you.
Yep.
You want to have a closer look at him. So I just want a young kid that starts to, be on the radar. We don't want to put any pressure on him. But
no, we don't.
Letting them do what they do and enjoy their cricket. They're still going to school,
Yeah.
Still sort of still looking for their second or third girlfriend. You know what that's like, Jeff. But seriously, we'd just like to keep an eye out on a few young guys now. Northern cricket has got a team in the Premier League conference. Just watch this space, I'll have a couple of interesting ideas next week.
Bring it to us next week, mate. Beautiful. We look forward to it. Thank you, Philly.
Okay, Phil. Take it easy, mate.
Talk to you next week.
Happy frothing.
See you, bud.
Mate. See ya.
Wait. Well, there you go, mate.
Well,
that's a good thing, actually, unearthing some young talent. And I know, guys, I know it's Tasmanian, but that's where we are, and
Well, that's it. So we look, if we can in some way find out what's going on, and but be some part of these kids to get them out there and get exposed, because they've got to get exposed, Jeff.
The whole thing about the Friday Frothy, Glenn, is that we like to look at diverse sports. We like to look at grassroots sports.
Yeah, exactly.
Where kids coming into the game and things. So
exactly.
Anyway, great work, Philly. All right, Glennie, it's time for Cleve's Tips.
Okay, just quickly. Mate, last Saturday in the Derby and that, we got the first up, which was Rayner. It's one in the kitty, but Hugh Bowman. We got a third, but I don't know if he's put money on him each way. He was paying okay. Lean Mean Machine. Huey Bowman again. The others, no good. But that's the way it goes. Well done to Cross Counter and all the establishment there behind that horse. It was a great win after it's been negative with what happened to the other poor horse. England, Sheikh Mohammed. He gets his. That's the first time for Godolphin that they've actually won.
I bet he needed the money.
Well, yeah, mate. He's got horses all over the world, and he just spits them out, mate. But never won down here. Never won down here. First time an English horse has won. here in the Cup, cross counter.
Yep.
I know, and they were 2 Europeans, 1, 2 and 3, that got over the line, which was cross counter, Marmello and Prince of Arran.
Taken over the sport, aren't they?
They have. So well done to Charlie Appleby, the trainer, and well done to Karen McAvoy. That's, I can't even do it.
I could do it for you.
Fingers have been broken so many times.
Carpal tunnel.
But three cups, so well done to him.
Yep.
Now, just quickly for my tips, we're going to go straight to Flemington. This is for Saturday, so in no order. Race 1, number 6. Sometimes I have to do this. Call it a day. $5. Race 4, number 1, Widgie Turf.
Hey, Nadal always says the Widgie.
Did he? Well, we spoke about that the other day.
We did.
So at 460, race 6, number 7, Canendra. $13. There's one for a bit of money, $4 a place. Race 5, I should have put him in before race 6, shouldn't I? Yes. But number 2, Gaelic Chieftain, paying $7 and $2.60. And race 8, which is my Cleves bet.
Here's the tip, please.
There's the tip, and you've heard this horse, but that's what we're going to back anyway. Extra Brute. So he's paying $7 for the win, and I think probably around about at the moment, probably about $2.60 for that place, mate. But
nice work.
That's it.
Nice
so
work.
it's been a massive spring carnival there with
Big
that.
Big, mate.
What about footy, mate? There we go.
Well, mate, we're into the G's tonight. As if you're following the show, we're going through every week, and we're going through all the new players that you've got and who you've lost, and we're up to G. So Gold Coast and Geelong. Do you want to go on me? I think
I've spoken too much, mate.
I've got Geelong tonight. Your ins, Geelong, Luke Dalhouse, Nathan Kruger and Gary Rowan.
Yeah, a couple of good players there. A dog and a swan, and a young fella from South Australia.
Very good
Nathan Kruger.
Yes, yep. Your outs are Lincoln McCartney, George Hall Smith, Jackson Thurlow, Daniel Menzel. Now, Daniel Menzel looks like he may go to Sydney.
May go to Sydney?
I don't know. I'm still looking at it. But he was the second highest goal kicker for Geelong, and they haven't offered him a contract. It's
$27
goals. Yeah, but they didn't offer him a contract, so I don't understand that. So something must have gone on. Geelong, you've also signed a Gaelic footballer, Stefan Okanuba.
There's a lot of Gaelic. A lot of Irish boys, isn't there?
There is. You've got draft picks, number 12, 59, 60, 70 and 87, so all pretty high except for your number 12. Now, there's some interesting stats about your fixture has come out, and I said last week about Essendon had a good fixture. Have a listen to this. 9 home games.
You're joking.
At, what do they call it? 9. Shell Stadium, whatever it's called. 2 home games at the MCG. 16 games in Victoria, including 9 at their stadium, 5 at the MCG and 2 at the Etihad Marvel
you think
Stadium.
Perhaps they want Geelong up there in the finals, mate?
Oh, I think so. Originally I had them sitting around about 7th, maybe 8th. After that draw, I now have you sitting 4th.
Yeah, well I'm a bit... I'm not real sure yet with Geelong. They've got a pretty good side. I'm thinking 5th.
Yeah, too many home games.
Yeah, they've got a lot of home games.
That's a fortress.
So they're not going to lose down there, mate, are they?
No, they're not. They're not. And you're only going to win 11, 12, 13 games, you know.
Yeah.
They've got 9 of them at home. Anyway.
Okay, well...
I'll give you the fun of talking about Gold Coast.
Well, Gold Coast it's a ball of fun over there, mate. Apart from the sun and the surf and all the rest of it, I think that's where they are most of the time.
Yeah.
But anyway, look, Essendon legend... I was going to say Clive Lloyd, but he was a cricketer, wasn't he? Matthew Lloyd.
He was a legend.
He believes that the Suns are the worst. It's the worst list, viewers, that he's ever seen. Will be in 2019. So what's coming up? He said they're going to be the worst list. Jared Healy said in 2018, this year, he said they were the worst side since Fitzroy. I don't know how old some of you viewers are, but if you ever watched Fitzroy back in the day, getting towards the end of it. They were really battling, mate. That's why they went to Brisbane. Vegas. That's why they went up there. So, anyway, they only won 4 games. The Coasters in 2018. They lost Steve May and Tommy Lynch. According to Champion Data, Nick Holman and Lockie Weller. They're the only players they reckon are above average in their side.
That's not good.
They've got no elite players on their Champion Data, so that's not good. So they need to get these young kids in. So gone. Lynch, as I just mentioned. May, as I just mentioned. Aaron Hall to the mighty Roos. Be a good play for you, sir.
I hope so.
Cade Kolodjasny. How'd you like that, viewers? Straight off the cuff. Kolodjasny.
Nice.
Say that 10 times after you've had a few frothies.
No.
Jared Lyons. He's the ex-Adelaide player. Brisbane like him, mate.
Yeah, he's going to the Lions.
He's going to the Lions.
He's going to the Lions.
He's getting in his scooter and he's going a couple hundred metres up the road, mate. They've recruited 8 players so far. They've got 2 pre-list players, Jeff.
Did they want to go there?
Well, I don't know.
That's the question.
I just wonder what's going on. Stuart Dew's trying to put his mark on it now. I feel sorry for him. But look, they got 2 listed state players. Like, I think one's Cornish or something like that. He's I can't think of the other guy. But so they've got 2 state players because of how they went on the season. Now the players that they've got up till now are the kids. They got ex-Tigers Corey Ellis and Anthony Miles. They got the ex-Cat, that Jordan Murdoch, he's gone there.
Oh, yeah.
George Hall Smith,
Yep.
He's gone there. Jack Homps, I think you pronounce it. He's the Port Adelaide, I suppose, halfback flanker. He's gone. They hold picks 2, 3, 6, 24 and 29.
Wow.
Now, trust me, they will have to make a thing where they've got to keep these guys for a certain amount of time, mate, don't they?
Look, I know we're running out of time, mate, but if you're one of these young kids in the draft and you get the phone call saying, congratulations, Cleve, you've made it to Gold Coast. Well, are you happy or are you...
Well, look, they are. The kids, they should be jumping out of their skin. I think what they're going to have to start doing with these young fellas is say, right, you're at a club, North Melbourne or wherever you are, Hawthorn, it doesn't matter which clubs, Carlton, but you are there.
Contracted.
You are contracted for, what's a good thing, 3 years, 4 years?
Yeah,
you can't go.
Yeah, when you first draft.
Yeah, and because all they're doing now, is, as we've spoken about, just quickly, is get the paper, rip it up, because contracts mean nothing. These kids, they get homesick.
Yep.
And they're gone, mate.
They got some good.
They've got some good kids.
Got some picks.
They'll need it, but remember Matty Lloyd. So it'll be interesting to go back in the year later on. He said it's going to be the worst list, mate. We're looking at that last.
Well, I've actually got them coming 22nd.
Well, there's not that many years, is it?
No, there's only 18 teams.
That's right.
But I've got them 22nd.
That's how far back they are.
Guys, I hope you pick up, but I don't know.
Yeah, we've had a fantastic show, I reckon. That was a coup, wasn't it? With Phil doing his thing. And,
Now, listen. Talking of Phil's, another mate of ours may have lined us up another special guest.
You're joking.
No, I'm not.
Joking?
I'm not going to tell you who it is because it's not confirmed. But all I can tell you is, if this comes off, this guy is playing for Australia. He's over in Finland at the moment.
Oh,
playing for Australia. We'd love to have you on the Friday Frothy, so we're going to follow that up. I'm not going to give you any more news than that.
No. Well, hopefully it comes to tuition, mate.
Yes, indeed.
So
that's all we've got time for tonight,
buddy. It is, mate. Look, all you viewers, have a great, as I always say each week, drive safely if you're having a few froths. If you're at the bar, get picked up, mate, or get an Uber. Get an Uber. But go and enjoy it, have a froth. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, go and enjoy yourself.
Just before we do finish up, guys, first of all, just a huge thanks to Jason Belmonte for coming onto the show. Absolute legend.
Yeah, well done, mate. We would really like to see you go later on.
Big thanks to Philly King, our cricket reporter, done a great job again. And for our camerawoman producer, who's really sick at the moment.
Yeah,
she's up and about and done this
now, and our makeup lady, she does a good job over there. She's still but anyway, I'd just like to say quickly too before we go, it's great to have my brother back in the country. He's Gold Coast boy now. He's a Tasmanian originally, but just flew in and that today, Mick, so
we'll see you soon, Mickey.
All the best for you, mate. You've still got your tail between your legs, mate, with Collingwood going down, but good to see you back, mate, and we'll have a few froths.
Alright guys, everyone have a great weekend. Get onto the cricket this weekend. There's a bit of motor racing happening as well. I hope everyone has a safe one. Glennie, been a pleasure once again, my friend. Episode number 10. Good evening.
See you later. Thank you. One of those. They go like that.
We're trying to go quicker. Stop that.